Well, welcome everyone. We are really excited about another great turnout here. Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. I want to say that the New Bedford Whaling Museum has been such a fantastic host for us. Beatrice, in particular, has been amazing and helped us pull this together. And absolutely. Going to be a lot of applause tonight. And Judy and Greg are doing a great job on the reception that's waiting for us on the other side of those doors, but we just got to get through some official business first, and we'll be right out there. But before we go any further, I just wanted to take a minute and thank everyone that I get to work with every day on Team EDC. That's the long-serving, dedicated, talented, creative, full-time staff members that we have, the senior fellows and contributors, the volunteer members of the Creative Consortium, the Regeneration Project Committee, and the lending committees. These guys work super hard day in and day out. Can we please give them a round of applause? Thank you. Now I'm going to take a minute and call out one staff member in particular. She knows who she is, who has moved on to take a new leadership opportunity, and that's Jessica Trombley, the director of the National Offshore Wind Institute for Bristol Community College. I'm amazed that I've been able to get along for the past several months without Jessica, and we know that she is well deserving of our thanks for her great work during her years at the EDC, and also for our continued support for what lies ahead at NAUI, which I can tell you is a world-class facility. This is one of those win-win scenarios that we all hear about. In this case, it's actually true. In fact, there are a ton of wins, and Jessica, who helps put together the annual report year in, year out, will tell you, that are laid out in that document. Now, there are some setbacks too, but don't worry about either of that, because I'm not going to bore you guys with a long presentation of a bulleted list of highlights. Instead, I'm going to ask that you grab a copy if you haven't already done so on the way out. If not, download it from the EDC website. But be sure to thank Medium Studios for the great design, Josh Souza for the fantastic photography, Stephen Froyos for the detailed editing, and of course, Reynolds DeWalt for the fantastic print job in the New Bedford Business Park. It's really their work that makes those pages come to life. Now, that report certainly tells a very detailed story of what happened in the past year, but more importantly for me and the staff, it helps sets the course for the hard but really exciting work to come. Now, you could say, as my daughter has said in the past, what work to come? We have a Starbucks in New Bedford. Mission accomplished. All your economic development dreams have now come true. But more important to American whaling than Melville's first mate on the Pequod, if you need your copy of Moby Dick, there are many available in the bookstore, was a guy named Lewis Temple. And Lewis was a New Bedford blacksmith and entrepreneur who worked only a few blocks south of where we're sitting right now. Once a Virginian slave, Lewis invented the toggle harpoon, considered the most important innovation of the whole history of whaling. Like so many world-changing ideas, oh, there's a bird in here. Judy, make sure you card that bird at the bar. But like so many world-changing ideas, his design was simple, a pivoting head that would lock into the whale's tough skin, thus significantly improving the chances of success of capture of that small crew out on the open ocean. Lewis is at the beginning of a long list of strong, creative, smart, and diverse small business owners that call New Bedford home. So many still follow his example by working hard and without fanfare, often without large profits. We owe them all a debt of gratitude. More importantly, we owe them our patronage. It is for them that the EDC promoted the heck out of the city's really awesome storefront program. It is for them that we launched and continue to operate new support programs like ArtNet, New Bedford Forward, and NB100, all funded by the city through federal ARPA resources, long-term investments to build a stronger local economy for all of us. So let me officially thank the City of New Bedford, Mayor Mitchell, the City Council, and all the departments that we work with every day, not only on ARPA projects, by the way, really so much more. And I also want to thank the local, statewide, and national partners that we have, such as the Industrial Foundation, Mass Development and Mass Growth Capital, and the Small Business Administration. They are at our side with everything that we do. And you should know that this tone of collaboration, this is set at the top. Our board of directors is outstanding. Tony's leadership is unwavering, and we all benefit from their collective experience and enthusiasm. As the executive director, I want to thank the entire board for their contributions and their steadfast support of the whole team. I also want to offer our thanks to those entities and organizations that have provided financial support through grants and corporate sponsorships. Again, all those guys are listed in the annual report. And once again, a special thank you goes to Bristol County Savings Bank for being our lead sponsor, specifically Pat Murray, the bank's president and CEO. While Pat isn't able to join us this afternoon, he's getting an award somewhere else, well-deserved, I'm sure. We are grateful to have Jeff Pagliuca in his place. Jeff is the Senior Vice President and Commercial Lending Leader at the bank and serves as the chairman of our own lending committee. Ramon and I can tell you, Jeff is absolutely a hands-on guy. You should know that beyond the EDC, the bank is partnered with the city, the zoo, the Zeitirian Theater, great vote last night, Whale and Junior Achievement, and many, many others. So whether we are driving thoughtful and new development, whether we're supporting small businesses and entrepreneurs, or continuing to build on citywide successes in arts and culture, Jeff, Pat, and the entire Bristol team are here for us all. So with that, please join me in welcoming Jeff to the podium and thanking Bristol County Savings Bank.
Thank you everyone for attending tonight. Bristol County Savings Bank is proud to be the sponsor of today's meeting. It is grateful for the New Bedford Economic Development Council's commitment to the continued economic development of the city. I'm pleased to be here. I've worked in New Bedford since 2000. As Dark mentioned, I currently serve SVP of the bank and also on the EDC board and chair of the loan committee. I actually probably had the shortest commute tonight. I literally walked across the street, so thank you everyone for the location. As part of the business community, the bank and the foundation continue to invest in a city that's truly on the move by providing more than $500,000 in grants to local not-for-profits in the area, including the Whaling Museum, the Z, the Fishing Heritage Center, Leadership South Coast, New Bedford Symphony, YWCA of Southeastern Mass, United Way, and the South Coast Community Foundation, just to name a few. Being in a role that deals with economic development agencies throughout Bristol County, I can truly tell you that Derek and his team are the best in the business, and I'm really proud that we as a bank are able to participate with them in sharing the success of the city. So thank you, Derek and the team. And it's truly a collaboration of everyone in this room tonight. We've accomplished amazing results in that Mr. Santos and the mayor can speak to far better than I can. But I really want to thank all of you for coming out tonight and doing what you do to help New Bedford become a better place to work, live, and visit. Of course, it's easy to get things done when you have a strong partner in these initiatives. Mayor Mitchell continues to set the tone, and we thank him for that. And we thank him for his support and leadership of the EDC's mission. Please help me in welcoming Mayor Mitchell.
Yeah, so great fashion choice tonight, Jeff. Hey, well, good evening, everybody. Great to see everybody here. Great to see all of our teammates together in one place. So, programming note, I've got to split early tonight. The reason is tonight is my last kid's last game at New Bedford High, and it's senior night tonight for Lauren Mitchell, the goalie, and so this is where they take the picture of the parents smiling and the kid frowning and all. So I have to leave for that. You fathers of daughters who've played sports know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, I didn't want to miss this at all, and because this is an occasion for me to express more than anything else my gratitude for all of the great work that is done by all of you and others in support of a stronger, more vibrant New Bedford and Greater New Bedford. I do want to just say right up front, I really am grateful for the work of the EDC team this year, every year, but this year especially. It's been quite remarkable. Derek mentioned some of the programs that were in place this year and were fueled in earnest, thanks in large part to federal ARPA dollars and some other sources, but ArtNet, NB100, NB Forward, all programs that were developed in-house, as well as the storefront program, which the city administered, but EDC certainly promoted. These things were all necessary, useful, but necessary in order to provide, among other things, just liquidity for a lot of small businesses that were still sucking wind from the pandemic, but also just to give folks a push. And in the case of one of those programs, to give startups a leg forward and an opportunity to take a step forward. So it meant for a staff of 5 or 6 a whole lot of work, and I just wanted to thank all of you guys directly for those efforts. Ramon, Deb Trombley, Margot, Nancy, Jess until like 2 weeks ago, and of course our fearless leader, Derek Santos. So another round of applause, if you would. So I think when I come to these events, I'm struck every year by, when I look out at the audience, just what we have here in New Bedford and how it's different. And we talk a lot about, our place in the world as an older industrial city that is not part of a major metro, that is itself sits on its own bottom, and as such really has to go about the work of competing in a global economy, or at least in those industries that call New Bedford home. And that takes a lot of work. It makes the work of economic development here different from a lot of other cities in New England that are themselves satellites that kind of rise or fall on the state of the fate of the larger metro, right? Here we sink or swim, and we would sink if it weren't for the fact that it didn't have what you see before you, which is a whole lot of teamwork and a whole lot of people rowing in the same direction. Pick your metaphor, but what's unusual here is that we understand that we have to hustle, that we have to stick with it, we have to persist, and that we have to work with one another and share in the effort, share in the credit. But at the end of the day, if we succeed, to share in the far richer experience of living in a stronger city. And so as I look around the room, what you don't have here and you have in other cities is, what you don't have here, but we do see in other cities, and I talk to lots of mayors, there's a whole lot of this, lots of pointing fingers, lots of blame, lots of people not understanding the broader mission, not really doing a lot for themselves. But we don't have that here, and that's a pretty cool thing, because it means the success is altogether more gratifying when you do it together. And as I look, there's just way too many people to name. I did want to cite our chair of the board, Mr. Chair of everything in Greater New Bedford, Tony Sapienza, for your leadership. And look, I think everybody here knows Tony, but I think the thing that's remarkable about Tony is not only the breadth of his knowledge, but his lots of things, but his commitment to the greater good. And he's a business person who's succeeded in all the ordinary ways, right? All the ordinary metrics, right? As a business leader and having generated a successful, profitable bottom line, but he's somebody that makes things happen in ways that create more public good, and he understands that role and is always after it, always getting after it. And so Tony, I really appreciate your leadership and your guidance, your counsel to me over the years. It's been invaluable Tony works with our other economic development agencies, of course, Gordon Carr at the Port Authority, John Bullard and Jen Downing over at the NBEDC, Joe Lopes over at Workforce Greater New Bedford, all these organizations, NOWI, BCC, all of them, and we're making progress, guys. I mean, look around, just take a look at what's going on in the city right now. Things are getting built at a rate and at a scale that we haven't seen in generations, and really since, I mean, I don't know when. I consider myself to be a student of the city's history, but it's been, when you consider what's going on in the port right now, we're in the midst of a pipeline over roughly a 10-year period. We're about halfway through that 10-year period of over $1 billion worth of port infrastructure and dredging. I mean, just remarkable. That hasn't happened since the whaling days. If you look at, for instance, the amount of surface transportation work that is underway, not just the streets and what we've committed to that in the way of recurring investment, but I mean, like the big stuff. We just had a meeting this week on the 195 viaduct. That's a $250 million project. That's moving forward. The bridge, and I say the bridge, everybody knows what the bridge is, the New Bedford Fairhaven Bridge, something whose replacement I wrote a term paper on in college. Well, that I did, and I was very heavily critical of Mayor Bullard's unshakable preservationist sensibilities and along the way. That was in the paper, so I'm going to dig that up, John, at some point. But that's moving forward as well. That's another $250 million project. Broadband, water and sewer. I mean, there is a ton being constructed right now. We just got a $5 million MassWorks grant just the other day. It's like, that would be like a really big deal. Except it's like now it's like $5 million. Well, that's cool. Today's $5 million. Like, 5 years ago that would have been cause for everybody going out to the bar and celebrating. But now it's like, well, but we keep all this stuff going because we're in a window of opportunity right now in which we have a confluence of all the planning we've done over the years, all the teamwork that we together have done with the arrival of a considerable amount of public and private investment. And the private investment you're seeing, we're getting, especially on the waterfront, especially related to offshore wind, people are coming here and saying, we want to set up shop somewhere in New Bedford. Usually we had to chase people down, and now we certainly do recruit, but it is becoming a lot easier because people are understanding that this is a very good place to invest, and it's also a really nice place to live. And again, those things don't happen by accident. They happen by dint of a whole lot of hard work over a period of time by people who believe in the place and who persist. And that's much to your credit. And I'm just so thrilled to be a part of it with all of you. And well, there's an election next 10 days or so, and I'm hopeful of the outcome without any predictions, but I'm looking forward to the time ahead so that we can just see just how great we can become. Thanks, everybody.
Well said, Mayor, and thank you for the kind words. And certainly good luck next week. We'd like to see you do very, very well. To do impactful, sustainable, and equitable economic development at the EDC, we must be a credible partner with everyone we work with. But first and foremost, we need to have a high level of trust and confidence in each other. It goes without saying that the city is our lead partner in our work, and strong and open relationships with Mayor Mitchell, the City Council, and everyone at City Hall are a must-have for the EDC team to be successful. Such relationships are the cornerstone of our effectiveness with the private sector, businesses, developers, and investors who recognize what we have here and what we want to be a part of. Having a close partnership with the Mayor's team is essential in our efforts to attract new investment, drive progressive policy, and continue to build on New Bedford's place as a nationally recognized leader in homegrown entrepreneurship. Again, thank you, Mayor, for the kind words and continued support. On behalf of the entire board, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the elected officials who have joined us today for their continued support of the EDC and the economic growth of our great city. Some members were last-minute no-shows, but that's okay. We know that they know what we are doing, so we can live without them not always being around. I also want to thank Jeff Pagliuca for his remarks, who, when not putting in long hours down the street for Bristol County Savings Bank, is the chairman of the EDC Lending Committee. Pat Murray, Jeff, and the entire team at Bristol County Savings are thoughtful community leaders who have always demonstrated through action what it means to be a good partner and who understand the important role that the bank plays in our city and the region. We thank everyone at the bank for their continued support of the EDC mission. And now with that, I will officially call the 2023 annual meeting of the New Bedford Economic Development Council to order. At this time, I would like to ask Carol Pimentel, my longtime friend and fellow board member, to deliver the clerk's report. Ms. Pimentel, your report, please.
Thank you, Tony. For our first order of official business, we have the approval of the minutes of the previous annual meeting, October 19th, 2022, which was also a full house. The minutes of the 2022 annual meeting have been distributed to the members. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of the previous annual meeting held October 19th, 2022? Do I hear a second? Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I will call the question. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The minutes of the October 19th, 2022 annual meeting have been approved. I will now hand it over to my dear friend and famous hometown brewer, David Slutz, to present the treasurer's report.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
It's a big day for me. Carol said I was her third favorite. John, you're still number one, I think, though, so actually, the font's still not quite big enough, Derek. We're getting close, though, but thank you. So it's the second time I wore a suit in 2 weeks, by the way, so congratulations to me. So thank you, Carol. So for those of you who know me, reading a script's not my strong point, so I'll do my best and stay on script because Derek's like, remember WKRP in Cincinnati when the program guy walks in, hey, Johnny, can you play one song from the playlist? Derek's like, can you just read the script once, please? So I'm going to do my best here. So let me start by saying that we continue to benefit from a diverse network of funders and corporate sponsors. That without those resources, the team would not be able to do what we do. So the list is long, but thank you on behalf of the EDC. And I want to thank the person of the NBEDC Finance Committee, and of course led by Deb, who makes this job extremely easy. The books are beyond clean, beyond perfect. So Deb, you do make the job easy. You're a pleasure to work with, so thank you very much for that. And the beauty thing about our group too is we are financially strong, but we act like we have nothing. We do check runs and nickels and dimes are counted every day. So Deb, keep doing your great work. With that, the fiscal year 23 was offered by 6 new programs to assist all kinds of businesses all over the city. It was another strong financial year for us with a net income of $3.4 million. Amazing. Our other major financial accomplishments include ARPA funds we mentioned earlier, 128 grants, 128, which the grant accounting on that is also not easy. Thank you again, Deb, for $1.3 million to all cities all over the city, to business all over the city. The list was like 10 pages long. It's crazy. We've exceeded our previous year with 2 SBA grants totaling $602,000 to support technical assistance programs. Lending is one thing, but teaching folks how to write business plans and so forth is probably equally as important. And this is what this money is for, is to help people become business folks. We want to offer a huge thank you to the SBA. This enables us to provide $297,000 in funding to trusted resource partners to provide that valuable one-on-one assistance for our partners all over the city. MGCC I'm also a member of the board there, Mass Growth Capital. I also borrowed money from those folks in 2008 to help save the O-ring mill, by the way, so I'm a big fan of MGCC. $100,000 in support, also towards technical assistance to help out our small businesses all over. Next, the lending program awarded 16 business loans totaling $447,000. The loan portfolio fiscal year ended in $2.4 million, which is pretty incredible. When you think about how easy money's been, we're still finding ways to lend money, and that's a testament to Ramon and the whole team for finding folks that really could use some help. We focus on holding the line on debt while still lending to some risky folks, which is a fine line to walk, which result in a total year-end loan loss allowance of $580,000. So we're well capitalized in the event of something going wrong. We also have more than $90,000 in cash loan loss reserve on top of that, giving us a combined total of $671,000, giving us an enviable and conservative position of over 27% of our loan portfolio is protected by our loan loss reserve. The result of the hard work and diligence for the team managing and collecting money, and Nancy's a bulldog. Also thank you, Nancy, because she never gives up at anybody getting our money back, so thank you, Nancy. Also this fiscal year, we accelerated our program on the arts and culture front. If you've not worked with Margot, she's a rock star, to put it mildly, so we're doing some great things there. Thank you, Margot, wherever you are. Targeted placemaking efforts, grants, and other support totaling $701,000. This work is made possible in large part by the city's commitment to the arts, culture, and tourism, and the Barr Foundation. We've got a great relationship with those folks because, again, Margot and her great work. New England Foundation for the Arts, the Community Foundation, and an additional $25,000 in Bristol County Savings Bank. Thank you again, Jeff and Pat. 97% of all the dollars go directly to where it's needed, so there's only 3% going towards administrative functions, which is amazing. And here we go, my favorite part, the balance sheet. So we got $5.6 million in assets supporting $1.5 million liabilities. Do the quick ratio on that. I think any of us with a company would love to have that quick ratio. It's amazing. And for those looking at our statements for the activities in fiscal 23, the annual report, you'll notice that our bottom line of $191,000 is prior to the release of the revolving loan fund known as KELF back to the city. Funding can be reprogrammed in a more flexible way through the city, and it's a better home is with those folks in City Hall versus us. The KELF fund's been with us since the 1990s, but over the past several years have been able to leverage the federal funding to meet the lending needs of New Bedford small businesses. Over the past 3 years, we have had a positive bottom line of $617,000, including the release of the KELF funds, so it really has no impact to us. So the time is right to make this move, and we're all for it. All in all, this is a big win for the EDC, the city's Community Development Pro Office, and neighbors they serve. Finally, our audited financial statements are very close to being official. With all the grant accounting this year, it's been a labor of love, to say the least. We know that, Deb. So if you like an official copy, you can get with Deb, and we'll send you a copy if you like one. Okay, my script work is done now. And with that, do I hear a motion to approve the Treasury report, please? Carol, thank you. Second? All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Thank you. The Treasury report has been approved. I will now ask my best friend, my former landlord, Liz Isherwood, and my lifetime marketing partner to come up and present, what are you going to do? Communication advice, complete the business portion of our meeting. Thanks, Liz. Get a hug too.
Thanks, Dave. So my job here today is elections, and I'm going to start with election of council members. According to the bylaws, the council members shall be elected by the council membership by a majority of the existing council members at the annual meeting. Do I hear a motion of the council membership as presented in the handouts? Second? Second. Thank you. Do I hear any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I call for the question. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the council has been presented, has been elected. Now for the election of the Board of Directors. According to the bylaws, the nominating committee nominates David McCready to a 3-year term representing private industry to expire in 2026. David is the incoming CEO of South Coast Hospitals Group, and we welcome him to our board in our city. Welcome, David. We also want to thank Dr. Ray Kruger. We also want to thank Dr. Ray Kruger for his service to the EDC and the steady hand at South Coast as he moves on into retirement and sailing into the Caribbean. Do I hear a motion to elect David McCready to a 3-year term to expire in 2026? Do I hear a second? Do I hear any other nominations from the floor? Hearing no discussion, I call the question. I call to vote to elect David McCready to the board. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. The nominating committee has also nominated Dr. Melanie Edwards Tavares, the new president and CEO of the South Coast Community Foundation, to a 3-year term representing the community to expire in 2026. Do I hear a motion to elect Dr. Melanie Edwards Tavares? No fighting, kids. To a 3-year term. Do I hear a second to the motion? Do we have any other nominations from the floor? Hearing none, any discussion? Then I call the vote to elect Dr. Melanie Edwards Tavares to the board. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Congratulations to Melanie. Also, in accordance with our bylaws, the mayoral appointments for this year include Carol Pimentel, the retired director of the Internal Audit and Administration Services at UMass Dartmouth, and Roland Giroux, executive vice president and chief legal officer of the Acushnet Company. We welcome Carol back, and we welcome Roland to the table. I will now continue on to the election of officers. According to the bylaws, the officers are elected at the annual meeting. The nominating committee nominates the following slate: President Anthony Sapienza, retired, President J.A. Apparel Corporation; Vice President Elizabeth Isherwood, President of Moore & Isherwood Communications; Treasurer David Slutz, President and co-founder of Moby Dick Brewing Company and Managing Director of Potentia Manufacturing Group, and also he's been serving as foreman of a foundry lately too. And as clerk, Carol Pimentel, Director of Internal Audit and Administrative Services, University of Massachusetts, retired. Do I hear any other nominations from the floor for officers? May I have a motion to accept the slate of officers as presented? Is there a second? Any discussion? Hearing none, I will call the question. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Great. The motion carries to accept the individuals presented in the slate as officers of the EDC. Congratulations to everyone, and that concludes our elections. I'll now call upon Tony to bring the president's report.
Thank you all for electing me again to this awesome position. I want to first congratulate David McCready from South Coast Health as his election to the board, and to Dr. Melanie Edwards Tavares as well. Welcome to both of you. You have succeeded very, very capable directors. We will miss them, but we know that you bring to the table incredible skills that will benefit the city going forward. So thank you very much. As we enjoy this great theater space, I think this might be the new normal for annual meetings, but let's stay focused on this afternoon for right now. In our everyday lives, the new normal has us all being a bit more vigilant about community health, the impacts of high inflation, and stubborn reminders about the weaknesses of a global supply chain with almost no redundancy. This new post-pandemic mindset has reminded us all just how critical regional economies outside of orbit of capital cities and how big a role of small businesses and entrepreneurs play within the greater New Bedford ecosystem. In that regard, we have always had strong feedback from our council members, elected leaders, and other trusted voices in the community that we are right to invest so much of our energies and resources to strengthen and building small businesses of all kinds and in all corners of New Bedford. While we pursue a broad and complex agenda that includes business and development, recruitment, arts and culture, cultivation, and advocating for thoughtful and inclusive policy, our work with small businesses and entrepreneurs are central to all of these efforts. From the port to the business park and all the neighborhoods in between, they are the bellwether of our economy and deserve our full support. So through that lens, we continue to utilize hard work, a solid strategy, and thoughtful leadership as the foundation for all of our programs. And it is your leadership as members of the Economic Development Council that is fundamental to these efforts. Your time and energy continue to be indispensable to the Board of Directors and all of the NBEDC team members. By all of us working together with Mayor Mitchell and the City Council, we have leveraged federal pandemic recovery resources to craft new citywide programs targeted to existing small businesses, entrepreneurs and startups, and creative enterprises. I want to note here that while the success of ARPA-funded Business Facade Program was not an NBEDC but city program led by the Community Development and Planning offices, we promoted it widely and shared in the mayor's pride of its tangible success. While there is much more to do, the positive impacts of the past year offer great optimism for the future. As I look to that future, I want to thank the board once again for their steadfast governance of this organization. And as of a board, we applaud the energy, capability, and creativity of our staff and associated team members. With that, I would just like Carol and Dave and Liz and Helena and Melanie and David to all stand up. So you all, and Laura, who's also here. And these are our board members. With everyone at the NBC working closely with the Mayor Mitchell and City Council and our many partners, we continue to make New Bedford a better city for all. The pages of our annual report, as Derek has just mentioned, simply reflect the outcomes of those collective ambitions. And I do urge you all to take a few moments to go through it. There's just some incredibly effective stories about how entrepreneurship is alive and well in New Bedford. And it's really, really important, as we've said, for the neighborhoods and for small businesses to thrive in this community. When you take that time tomorrow to read through the pages, you will find we continue to see measurable progress in long-term expansion and development efforts, drive nation-leading work in arts and culture, really important stuff, and manage new partnership programs to assist small businesses at every stage to drive home growth wealth. It is those new programs that deserve special acknowledgement this year, and I want to take a moment to highlight one program in particular, NB 100. This program promotes entrepreneurship by helping 100 new businesses get off the ground while having positive impacts on New Bedford's neighborhoods by harnessing the spirit and innovation of creativity in our city. Through this program, eligible businesses receive valuable technical assistance from our partners and a Kickstarter grants of up to $10,000. But engagement and support will continue to be available long after the grant awards are made. Our partners that make such support possible include E4All South Coast, Groundwork, the Co-Creative Center, the New Bedford Ocean Cluster, the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth, Bristol Community College, and Junior Achievement of Southern Massachusetts. In FY23, we funded 11 Kickstarter grants to entrepreneurs, and there were also 33 additional applicants that completed their technical assistance with grant applications under review. As of today, we have 66 homegrown entrepreneurs who have been funded or are making their way through the program. At this pace, we will be at 100 in no time at all. I'm also proud of our efforts to reach underserved constituencies who are looking to start businesses for the first time. We share the SBA's and city's goals of making such outreach a priority and can report that 64% of the program participants are female. 30% represent minority participation, of which 18% are Hispanic, and 27% of our participants are identified as LGBTQ+. Pretty amazing to be able to offer that kind of diversity. But numbers will only tell you so much. We wanted to share some of our personal stories of the risk takers we call entrepreneurs. They are your fellow citizens, and they not only offer great products and service, but inspiration as well. So we turn to award-winning filmmaker Ethan De Aguiar Ethan made the film Love Letters to New Bedford and is New Bedford's base entrepreneur himself. He has used his talents to help us tell the story of New Bedford's grassroots entrepreneurs in a way that captures a bit of that spark that is needed for any small business to succeed. So, without any further delay, we bring you the premiere of Small Business, Big Impact. Big Impact. Enjoy the movie.
New Bedford really fosters entrepreneurship. I mean, if you walk around downtown, you're not seeing a lot of chain stores. It's encouraging independent business. People from New Bedford care about New Bedford and they want to do things that's going to support the community. We take people on guided food, art, and history tours. We tell them the history of New Bedford, and along the way, we stop at 5 different places to sample the food. New Bedford is so rich in the culinary scene, and more people need to know that. So we figured, let's introduce more people to New Bedford so more people can know how awesome we are.
I think New Bedford's great because it really is a city that's turning the corner, and there's real opportunities here.
We've seen new businesses open up that you wouldn't even see in other areas. But because of the artistic community, I feel like New Bedford is just more open to different kind of businesses.
I cater to the BIPOC community throughout my artwork and stationery items. It kind of dawned on me that there wasn't representation, and I realized, wait, I can't find anything that represents my skin color or my culture, me being Cape Verdean. That's really where I knew that it was a problem, and I wanted to be the solution to that. I'm one of 3 girls in my family, and I'm the first to own a business within my generation. The community surrounding entrepreneurs in this city is amazing. It's almost like a family.
We're a tight-knit community, and we support each other.
It feels amazing to get the energy back because it's scary to put yourself out there. Sorbet Frozen Treats is the first vegan and all dairy-free frozen dessert shop in New Bedford, Massachusetts. We specialize in globally inspired flavors. I started the menu based on some Brazilian flavors that I grew up with. When you're looking for something that doesn't have dairy in it, or if you're vegan and you don't want animal products, options are very limited. I just wanted to give those people another avenue to fulfill that comfort food craving for an ice cream. And it tastes like its own thing.
There's a lot in the infrastructure here, in the ecosystem to support people. Local nonprofits, the city itself, all those folks coming together to try to see how they can incubate these businesses, which is really exciting. So what we do is we focus our efforts on salvaging and recycling mattresses. 95% of the mattresses we receive are end of life, need to be recycled. We cut apart the mattress layer by layer, starting with the cotton, then the foam, then the steel. And we're able to salvage 75 to 80% of the weight of every mattress, which can then be used for other uses downstream. 600,000 mattresses are disposed of every year in the state of Massachusetts alone. I think this year we'll probably recycle 50 to 70,000 mattresses, and about 5% of all the mattresses we get, we're able to clean and sanitize and then resell. You know, we're selling mattresses at 10 to 20% of their normal retail value. So a $3,000 mattress you can come here and buy for $300. And that's a huge help to people. Part of Hand Up's mission is really to help folks get good paying jobs, and we really focus on working with immigrants and refugees. English skills can be lower, so that helps people get into the workforce, get a good paying job, and then move on, hopefully. And that's the idea of a hand up, not a handout over time.
You know, I had invested in this building and this project just because I believe so much and strongly in New Bedford. It was really just the store was sitting empty for a number of years, and you know, I just thought it was a shame. So this would be the perfect business and opportunity for this particular neighborhood that's so residentially heavy. Neighbors that I'm meeting is great, and seeing their reaction to the store has been really the best highlight. It's a great cross-section of everyone, and you know, there's only a handful of businesses in this area, so I just thought it would be really, really great just to have something like this, because you know, people need real high-quality food, and we have a lot of that in New Bedford, but I'm hoping to expand that a little bit. We've got everything from your basic grocery staples to frozen foods, dairy, to prepared meals, which is really a huge aspect that we're trying to grow into. Do some private catering events, charcuterie, sandwich platters, doing all sorts of things like that. And we've got beer and wine. So it's a little bit of everything. We hope that we're kind of touching on everything so that it really is that useful store.
I think that creatives make such good business owners because they are already not afraid to put themselves out there.
They also bring other people into their ideas. And I think that creatives tend to be a little bit more community-minded as well.
I've been a tattoo artist for 16 years, and I opened a tattoo shop with my cousin and his wife.
The first Hispanic tattoo shop in New Bedford. Also the first to offer a microblade into the city, which we're extremely proud of.
When this opportunity came to me, I was a manager at a retail location, and I thought this would be a good change. And it was shortly after COVID, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna follow something that I wanna do. And I think that was a really good decision.
Very adaptable and flexible to be able to pivot at any given moment. Someone that has a creative mind, they think differently. Newbie Cleaning is residential and commercial cleaning, not only for homes, but also for offices and businesses in the South Coast area. Majority of our clients are hiring us because they're that busy family that doesn't have the time to be able to clean their own home or clean their own office space. And there's a big thing when you talk about mental health, feeling of satisfaction when you walk into a space that is clean.
When I applied for NB 100, I honestly didn't think I was gonna get it. I was so grateful and I felt so blessed because it really took the stress off of me and like that pressure of opening a business.
I'm super grateful for the NB 100 because of the fact that they allowed me to finish the renovations for this whole entire store. People's reactions when they see how nice the store is and how, you know, we're sort of all working together to just keep improving New Bedford. That's what I'm most excited about.
It gave us the ability to work with other people. Not only that, it helped us, allowing us to help others.
When you're supporting New Bedford Food Tours, you're not just supporting me personally, you're supporting all the businesses that we support, and it has ripple effects.
It never really occurred to me that all these things existed. Meeting other entrepreneurs, meeting the people from the EDC, and then learning about everything that the city has to offer. It felt good, it felt safe, it felt like someone has your back.
You know, everyone's going to tell you why it can't work, all the problems, and you can get caught in all the things that you have to figure out before you move forward, and then you'll never get started.
Don't worry about your screw-ups and don't worry about your mess. That's all part of the process.
Any idea that's percolating in someone's mind, I hope that this inspires them to explore it a little more.
Just start. Like, if you have that idea, just start. You're always going to be scared. You're always going to have that self-doubt, that imposter syndrome. I still have imposter syndrome after over a year of doing this, but just start.
What a great film. More importantly, what great personal stories and what great people. Can we please have the business owners who took part stand up and identify themselves? They're here. There was one, and two, and three. Is Ethan here still? I know he was here earlier. Ethan, are you still here? There he is. Okay. Thank you all so much for being here today. Thank you for the confidence you have shown in this board of directors, and thank you for the confidence you've shown in my leadership of this board. But I do want to say that it's really important that the other guy that's here that really needs a round of applause, because he made one for everyone else, is Derek Santos, our executive director. Thank you, Eaton. Thank you, Bristol County Savings Bank, and the mayor. Thank him for his being here today. Thanks to the Whaling Museum, an organization I know pretty well, for being such a great host. And then I want to announce that we are going to have a bright future in 2024. That's my official pronouncement for this coming year. I want to remind all of you again, council members, that in the next few weeks, the staff will be reaching out again to help you stage our work for this coming year. As always, your input, guidance, and experience are valued, needed, and greatly appreciated. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Invite folks to, and I'm going to ask you all to stay. We have a cocktail reception after the fact. Sometimes we do it beforehand, but today we're doing it after the movie. I'd like you all to stay and enjoy a cocktail or some appetizers. And then I encourage all of you to attend one of the great restaurants that may be in New Bedford or that caters to your particular style of food and entertainment, because there are so many and so many good ones. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. So if there is no unfinished business, is there any unfinished business? Good, there's none. Is there any new business? There's no new business, in which case I hereby declare The 2023 annual meeting of the New Bedford Economic Development Council adjourned. Thank you.